Hello, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious at United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network, broadcasting out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, which I hear it is so hot and sweaty there that you can't even sit without sweating. It's quite a phenomenon that we in the South all know about. Of course, with me, I'm in France, and we're not sweating here. We're quite comfortable with our frisky, cool weather coming out of the Pyrenees Mountains. As I get distracted, as I always do, I wanted to tell you that you can catch the show on the UPRN Talk Radio Network, the Roku, cable television, YouTube, and Facebook and other internet platforms. And today we are in the mysterious lab, sound activation lab. You can see these big chimes in the back. Maybe we'll get those out and play with them. But we are in the home and lab, and mad scientists, wonderful scientists, metaphysical scientists, scientists that goes into places that other people don't go into. I just had to say, and we are joyful and delighted that she is. So, hi, Pennie Loftus. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Bart Sharp.
Yes, Pennie is a sound activationist of magnitude, and she wrote a book called The Inner Solar System, Being the Amazing New Normal. And this was last year. New news, old news, but it is news. And today we are talking about the 5 frequencies of the heart, which is an aspect. The thing with Pennie is that she lives in France in this big house, and in the wintertime it's really cold, and she just goes into all of this experimentation and is inventing a whole different design. So when we're talking about 5 frequencies of the heart, I can almost guarantee that you never heard this before.
Well, we all have a heart energy. We all have a heart energy center, but we never talk about the whole of the heart energy center. And since the dawn of mankind, we have looked to the stars, or should I say humankind, not mankind, humankind. We've looked to the stars not knowing or realizing we're looking at ourselves. And so when planets are moving around, they're affecting us every day through frequency. So we have formulated the inner solar system, we being the Council of 3 and my guides. It's been channeled since 2012, and it all came together in December the 14th, 2020, in a big aha moment. And so we're now going to talk about your light anatomy, and the piece of your light anatomy we're going to talk about today is your heart, which has 5 planets within it, planets and asteroids. We have the north node at the top, which is an elliptic path, and the south node at the bottom. And then we have Neptune on the left, and we have Chiron on the right, and in the middle we have Cupido. And Cupido is a mix of Jupiter and Venus. Venus being the translator energy, and Jupiter being the expansion energy. And this is where you have an Akashic record for this lifetime, and it's a tool that you can use to enter into.
So would that be in the thymus?
Yes, it's right in the center of the heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
The thymus is, at least in my metaphysical book, and before we say another word, I just wanted to say hello to Gloria Haas in Counseling with Vision. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Gloria.
So
she's in Tucson, in Arizona.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
We're in France. We're going worldwide. Look out. So the thymus for me was always like you pull tons of energy through the thymus in both directions, either from the feet up or head down and through your body. And it really opened your psychic abilities a lot.
And that's where your Akashic record for this lifetime, all those little tools that you packed before you incarnated, rest. And so when you have your personal frequencies done on the day, time and place you were born, it's a blueprint of your whole light anatomy, of your frequency. And so you can get your personal frequencies of your heart. So you can truly connect. So if there's a Neptune on the left, which is your stream of love, and limitlessness into the heart. If anything's going on with Neptune, which we're going to talk about, then you know how it's affecting you. And we also have the collective heart, where as a collective, those planets are representative of how our collective heart is working.
Cool. And so, can you tell us a little bit about how you would, in Hello, She Became Magic, and counseling with, oh, gotta get this now. We're getting a little distracted. Counseling with vision?
I think that's Gloria.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Gloria.
Yeah.
So, how do we develop that thymus or that Cupido energy?
So you can invoke it. So you can, for instance, mine is 639 on the 666. So you can say, I invoke my 639 on the 666. I am.
Stop both there.
And it's just I am.
That's an individual, personal frequencies.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when you invoke it, you can be on top of a mountain. You can do it before you meditate. And then what needs to come in for that moment in time will come in.
Okay.
And if you want to work with that, you could play the frequency. You can go on YouTube, on my website. They're all there for free, and you can play them.
Neat.
And have it around you. And what it does is it sends a message out into your field, and we all have a field. Some are 8 meters above and out and below, some at 12, and some of us are walking towards a 16-meter field. So when you work with these frequencies, it sends a conscious message out into your field and attracts what you need to come in.
Wow. And so to back up a little bit, we each have a unique frequency.
Yes.
And I just want to say hello to Mort, who just popped in. And so every time there's a unique frequency that is individually yours. And from what I understand, you get this through an astrological reading.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, right now you can get in touch and we can find your personal frequencies for you. I've just started a training. The frequency therapy has got a training now. So there's 9 oracles all over the world, in America, Ibiza, Switzerland. You know, we're everywhere.
So when you start to learn what your frequencies are for your individual self, then you can start tuning that and start opening your thymus to this type of energy work.
And that's what this is all about. It's not about going to someone anymore. It's about going within and finding out who you are and then coming out into the collective. Whereas right now it's all about, when we were growing up, it was, if you needed to be taught, you went to a teacher. If you needed anything to do with your health, you went to a doctor. But now we're going inside, and this is the heart, as we all know, is like the central roundabout of our whole existence in these bodies.
And so much about what we're doing these days is DIY, do it yourself, and getting tools out there to do this stuff and to learning the frequencies that are right for you. So when you do this stuff, and you may see it on people, what do you see happening?
So often people come when they want to expand their consciousness, or they've got some physiology going on in their body, something physical, emotional, or mental. I've worked with people with cancer. I've worked with all kinds of medical, and always we're all, as usual, we're always the last hub to go to. But what we found is,
go ask the weirdo.
Go ask. When nothing else works, let's come to us. But what we found is especially with cancer, it can alleviate the pain and the inflammation. And a consultant in Toulouse said, I can't get you in right now because there's so many tests that they need to do and blah, blah, blah. But the nurse said, if I could give your number out, would you be open to it? And at the time, it was like, if you want to. But what we found as well is people are connecting to sacred sites. Gaia is recognizing their frequencies and then activating them, enabling them to clear themselves.
So also what you're saying is, the more you can attune to your own individual frequencies, you maximize the effect that could
Yes.
possibly happen.
It's almost like you're listening to a radio, and when you haven't got it tuned in, it's shh,
Yep.
and you might get the odd play of a tune. But when you tune in, you get the clear whole song coming in, and that is the difference with frequency.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda from Wisconsin.
Hey, Linda. She's an oracle that she's just been on the training course.
Oh, neat. Well,
Yeah.
so folks, you can call Linda up as well. And so when you start to learn these frequencies inside of yourself to understand this quickly, you can tune into that vibration. I mean, there's one thing to take a tuning fork and ping it and get that frequency, but it's a study of what's happening with a tuning fork.
Yeah.
And you ping it. Oh, I gotta
There you
do
go.
it.
You got to do
I gotta
it.
do
You
it.
got to do it.
All over the airways. But my heart can feel that vibration, and I'm training my heart to know what that vibration is. If you do it enough and you practice enough, you have enough intention, and you're maybe a little clever, you start to learn to vibe that all the time.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you go from the tuning fork, where you don't need an aid, to invoking it, because you can just consciously invoke it wherever you are. You don't have to have all these tools.
Yeah.
You can be in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
You know.
They're darn fun to have, but it's
they are.
a little
They are.
inconvenient to be walking around with a big coat or a big suitcase full of tuning forks, and you whip them out wherever you go to ping them.
Well, you know me. We go on tours together, and I've pulled out my tuning forks many a time.
Yeah, yeah. And also, if you're in the office, it might get a little inconvenient. So you might want to learn how to vibe it yourself and just learn what the frequency is.
Once you find out what the numbers are, it seems a bit bizarre at first because it's a number, right?
Right.
But what you find is, as you invoke it, there's a resonance, because when you speak through your heart, which is your throat, and speak your truth, it's like when we speak the inner narrative. If we change the inner narrative, we can create anything. But when you start tuning into your frequencies at the same time, for instance, the Cupido that we talked about, the Akashic record for this lifetime, it's a very simple invocation, which is I am. It's your power. It's your energy.
I always get that I am as kind of a accumulation of a lot of things, a lot of stories, a lot of events, a lot of things that happen that's in your memory. But suddenly, of all of what you've learned, gets a mesh into one message or one frequency.
Yeah.
And that's what you've accumulated to now.
So, for instance, here it's I am one, I am source. Here it's I am. Here it's I am one, I am source, because they're part of an axis. And then here it's I am love, I love. And this one is I am love of self.
Okay, so those who are listening at the radio, what Pennie was pointing to is that I am source right at the bottom of the throat, and then I am is at the thymus, and then I am one, I am source
sort of there
at the heart.
There. Yeah, just there, all in the heart space.
Yeah.
Like a compass.
Right. And then to the right,
you've got Chiron, which is I am love of self.
That would be right at the heart. And then to the left of the heart is
Neptune, which is I am love, I am love.
Okay.
Yeah, I am love.
Wow.
Simple, but very evocative.
Yeah.
And often when people right now are trying to find that self-love, this would be a great one to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're feeling there's not enough love around you or in your life, then your Neptune is a good one. If you're feeling a bit down, this is a frequency to play. And how do you play them? You go onto YouTube, you find that number. You can go on my website, there's a frequency directory, and you can play it around you as you're working. Or
could you, because I do shamanic work that's more therapeutic.
Yeah.
And work with people's stories and their past traumas, et cetera, and could you go into like a story of like when I was beaten up in the 5th grade and I had this fear and trauma about that? Could I just relive that and start playing a frequency?
What I would suggest is go into the self-love frequency, because obviously your self-love shutters away because this world is scary. So if you start working with your Chiron, this enables you to start working with your DNA as well, and enables you to anchor more light in, so you've got more clarity and a bigger perspective of what really went on. It really opens the doors and lights you up.
So maybe like a visualization, when you get the frequency going, you ping the tuning fork, or maybe you've memorized it by then, but you allow that frequency to go into the memory of the incidents that's somatically stored in your body.
Yeah, and then you can start to process them clearly, properly, in a very calm, safe way, rather than all sorts coming out. Because you can say, for instance, I am love of self. I would like to revisit this moment in my life with that frequency playing around you. So if you were working with somebody and you had their frequencies in front of them in your job, you could actually play that frequency around them as you're talking to them, like a lot of therapists can.
Wow.
It's sorry, go on.
No. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
Yeah. So I'd probably approach it. That's the beauty of this show, is that we're totally spontaneous with it, and we're talking about shop right now, which is basically what Pennie and I do a lot when we have time to get together. She's so busy.
And you're not.
Yeah, I'm not. I got such a boring life.
Yeah.
So I would be thinking about, maybe this person's telling this story and I might be in the question. It's like, well, where's it stored in her body? And as I feel it, I might be saying, well, what do you think if your right lung in the top or right part of it, or the top part of it in the right side? And as you talk about that, and they go, well, come to think of it, that feels really uncomfortable. And I go, okay, so let's concentrate on that and start getting the frequencies to come in there.
And you can give the frequencies as like homework, so they can go home and listen to them or invoke them. Because often when you just play the frequencies and sit, because we often don't sit quiet, but often these frequencies allow you to sit, and you can play them while you may be meditating or just laying on the sofa or at night time in your bedroom, because frequency is a wave and sound is attached. So if you have the volume really low down and you can't hear it, that frequency is still working in your field.
Exactly.
So you can play it in your bedroom and hardly not hear it, and it's working on you overnight.
It is.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was a school teacher at the school for the deaf, and I worked with a lot of abuse CDs. I mean, a lot of abused kids.
Yeah.
I would play an abuse CD, which is energetic clearings, and I'd have it the lowest volume, so no other teachers who came in, or my boss come in and say, what's that weird noise you got? Nobody could hear it. It was just light. But we were all getting abuse clearings, and the kids are always so much better, and a lot of behaviors changed.
Yeah.
Because of that frequency that went through everything. Talk about easy peasy.
It is. That's just it. And somebody said that's too easy. And I went, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Keep it easy. We overcomplicate things in this life. And so when we have our personal frequency that we can tune into, there's also the collective, like when you go and you're out and about and people are saying, I don't feel so well, or this is happening. You can look at collective frequencies and see what's going on out there. And I just looked quickly before we came on at where the collective North Node, South Node, Chiron, Neptune and Cupido are. And about 6 months ago, the archangels came in and they sat around the astrological wheel, so we can actually know that we're working with the angelic system with these frequencies. So it's quite interesting when you start opening up this flower, which is your heart, and go into different parts of your heart, like the physical heart itself with all its ventricles.
Well, let's go into the nuts and bolts about that, because I mean, you say it and like, it almost sounds way too new agey for me. But let's get into some more. How does that work?
So the angelics, when Archangel Michael came in, and I was like, do I have to call you Archangel Michael? Because it's a big title.
AM.
And then he said, you can call me Fred. It's what I'm known as. I'm just an energy stream, and I'm not religious. I believe that I've always, I've done theology when I was at school. I really did look into all of this and found it wasn't for me. But there are many people that are. So I'm not getting into that struggle of they're archangels and that's it. For me, they're an energy stream. But at the end of the day, we can come together on this point. And so Archangel Michael works on 174.
Bring it in the middle.
In the middle. There you go. That's Archangel Michael.
So those who aren't seeing this screen, Pennie just took a tuning fork of a 174 frequency and hit it with a quartz crystal, an amethyst to be exact.
Yeah.
And she is just calling this in. Now, the 174 is not a general frequency for Michael. This is your frequency, is that right?
No, this is the collective frequency. So Archangel Michael right now is working on all of us on our self-love aspect of our heart.
Through the 174.
Through the 174, because that's his frequency that he works with on planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I could take this.
Yeah.
I got plenty of naughty questions.
I love it. Throw it at me.
I could do the 174 here.
Yeah.
And be thinking about a very troubled place in the world and direct that frequency right into that place.
Yeah, you can do whatever you like. There are no rules.
Yeah.
These are your frequencies or our frequencies, and these are to come out. There's no boxing off.
Now that I'm trying to change anybody's outcome, that's kind of going into naughty physics and naughty metaphysics. But you could say, let's support the frequency of love and fairness in the Gaza Strip right now.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Archangel Michael is working on it's let's have a look. It is 3 degrees. This is a cosmic calculation, and it's 3 degrees of Aries, which is where Archangel Michael works. And the degree he's on, because we formulated in 2021 meanings for each degree all the way around the wheel, and he's working on the gateway, and it's a gateway to work with your self-love.
We welcome Martin Loftus. You can play the frequency in the background without even hearing it for it to work.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Thanks, Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. And so if we lead on from that, that's a gateway. So there's a gateway out there right now. What he's working with is to cut through, because it's a fire energy. Aries has got that fire element. So he's trying to cut through all of that trauma around our hearts to get into the self-love, into that DNA. And then we have, let's look at the North Node.
Yeah, so we have four
forks here,
groups here.
Yeah.
4 tuning forks.
So we have the North Node, which is the way forward for the collective right now.
And that would be where the thymus is, correct?
That's there,
Correct.
Just below the throat, just here. And this is at 2 degrees, so it's working with the Lemurian coding within every single cell in our body.
Okay, so let's clarify what the heck the Lemurian coding is.
So when humankind was seeded on the planet as a caretaker and worked with Gaia, it was the original Homo sapien, whatever it was, Homo Lemurian.
Yeah. And
we are now ascending in our physical bodies to Homo Illuminus. So we need to hold more light. And when our bodies remember the Lemurian coding, it takes that cell right back to when everything was whole.
Well, that's pretty darn cool.
Just like that.
Okay, so this is the North Node that does this, and it resonates the thymus.
Right now.
And also resonates your Akashic records of to align with
your personal and collective growth.
And the Lemurian codings, which is a higher form of light being that we once knew a long time ago.
Yes. And it's also the Lemurian energy it was a white ray that you could bring 5-dimensional energy through and work with it on 3-dimensional. And right now, this Lemurian coding is being worked with throughout our whole physical body on a collective.
Okay, so let's do an experiment.
Okay.
We're hands-on here.
Yes.
And people can do this
fork.
if you're working in the office and like you're trying to look normal while you have your little headphones on, listening to this show. But I want you to concentrate on your thymus. And we make this request that the Lemurian light codes be activated when you do this.
And we're working with Archangel Metatron because it's on 432 hertz.
I can't wait.
Yes. Are you ready? Ready. And this is only for now for the collective heart because
it could change.
Yeah, because the north node will change. It will move to 1 and then it'll go into,
Okay.
So here we are. But this is living in the moment with frequency, working with your heart, collective north node. Put your affirmations in there of how you want to help the collective consciousness. Are we ready?
Okay, everybody pay attention to your thymus area. I feel lighter. I feel like it just activated this part inside of me.
Within the heart, yes. And because it's in the heart, it feeds the heart. But we've also, this degree that it's on, working with the Lemurian coding, Tiger's Eye crystal, because there's a crystal on that degree. And Tiger's Eye right now for the collective will help us stand back from situations which will allow that path to open rather than running at it. With all the craziness that's going on in the world, Tiger's Eye right now will work with Archangel Metatron 432 to help you stand back and allow.
You mean detach?
Not detach, stand back. Sometimes we can be reactive, and this will enable us to stand back and just allow a little bit of time, a little bit of energy to move before we react. If you stand back, you can allow things to happen.
So you have more of an objective viewpoint of the situation.
Yeah, bigger perspective.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So that's where the north node of the collective is right now, which is our forward path together. That's together. Interestingly enough, the south node, which is on the axis, so that would be just there. We're working with Archangel Sandalphon.
So the south node is at the heart.
It's at
the heart chakra.
Yeah, it's the heart chakra, but within the heart energy center, the heart chakra, we've got these 5 elements that work inside. It's your light and
so when we talk about the 5 energy centers, for those who are just listening, one of them is at the heart, but it's the lowest one, and the highest one is at the bottom of the throat.
It's kind of here, just below,
with the thymus right in the middle, and then the 2 on the side of that. All kind of centerpieced around the thymus.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
And so on the opposite side of is the south node, which if you're in astrology you'll understand, but this is where we release from the heart. We can release. It's a bit like the comfort zone, like it's Netflix and popcorn. It's what we know, and so often we hang on to this during times like we're in. But right now Archangel Sandalphon is working on the 639, which is that energy, and this will allow us to work with releasing from the heart that we no longer need. And it's working on the amber ray, and the amber awakens your creativity.
That one is tweaking me.
Yeah. This is where you're ready to let go of things that you no longer need. And it's Archangel Sandalphon, the brother of Archangel Metatron. They work on an axis together. So in normal astrology, this would be known as an opposition. But in this frequency astrology, it's known as an awakening line. And so you have 2 energies working together in symphony. And so when you place these 2 together, Archangel Metatron 432, Archangel Sandalphon 639,
and those would be at
the north node and the south node.
Okay, so that would be at the bottom of the throat and right in the heart.
Yeah, you play these 2 together, and this will create an awakening line within your heart, the collective heart.
God, my heart feels a lot of peace, like serenity when I
Yeah.
see that. Whereas Sandalphon, when it's by myself, it felt like my body was trying to adjust to it.
Well, so Archangel Sandalphon, everyone knows is a healing archangel, but he's also an archangel of music, and he can cut through space and time, which is fascinating. And he works with the healing colours.
And Gloria Haas says she felt it.
She felt
I
really nice.
appreciate you saying that, Gloria, with the 439. So we're a little bit past midpoint, and nobody's going to spank me for being late. But I want to tell you that you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. I'm Bart Sharp, and our guest today is Pennie Loftus. You can catch her at dragon'seyehub.com. That'd be DRAGONSEYE, like an I, and then hub, HUB. So check out her work. She's got a lot of stuff on that site to help you figure out this system that she has developed and created.
With the help of the Council of Three on my guides.
Yes. And you still make the choice every day to work it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it wouldn't get done if you were sitting downstairs and drinking coffee all day.
Watching Netflix and eating popcorn.
Yeah.
So the next part of the heart, Bart, we're going to go to, on the left-hand side, is Neptune. And Neptune is also working on the Akash, and it's also working on the 432. So Metatron is quite busy in the heart for the collective heart right now. So he's also working with an initiation to the Akash, which is a library of all you've ever done. You can ask any question in there and get your answer for your consciousness. And the Akash records come down in 2 rods, and they come down and work with the crystalline grids of your consciousness on this planet. So right now, Archangel Metatron is working with limitlessness and love. This is what this stream is here. And when you play this with I am love, I love, with that, rather than I am one, I am source, it changes the dynamic of the 432. And it's now working with an initiation of you limitlessly opening up that love stream to who you really are, which is light.
But your own frequency.
But your own frequency.
Because everybody has an interpretation of what infinite is, or the application of infinite. That's why I always like to say it. To me, it's more like a Venetian energy, and that Venus takes the multiplicity of applications of what infinite could be, or light could be, and you have all the applications you can follow from what infinite is.
Whereas this is Neptune.
Yeah, and this is interesting. It's like, I've been wanting to ask you this question for 20 minutes.
Go on then.
Why Neptune?
He presented himself here on the heart, like the angelics presented themselves. And why him? Because he works with Pisces, which is limitless, and it's the love. It's pure love, but it's strong. And when you work with Neptune, it's very opening. If you were very easily swayed and may have issues of, maybe I'll try that and then I just drink, or I'll try that and you smoke. Neptune can be a bit dangerous because he's got no boundaries.
He has no tolerance for your addictions and bad
behavior. If you, the lower octave of this is addiction, but the octave that we work with within frequency is limitlessness, no boxing it off. Love is love, and it's so expansive.
So I got to ask you an unpredictable question. I know you can handle it. So if you really have addictions in your life and you wanted to approach it with these tools, in this Neptune, How would you go about that? Can you give people some?
I would offer the Earth Star, which is release. I would offer the South Node as release, and I would offer Eris as release within the light anatomy, which is a whole. But I would not offer Neptune because it's just it can spiral down, and we want to spiral up. So what we would do is work with Chiron, self-love, which then move on to Neptune. So it would bring you into self-love, and then it would spiral you up into the love stream.
And we had to look about what addiction actually is to get a bit on the practical side. Addiction, this is what a therapist told me. And we just want to say, since we have since the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo until next July, how does that factor it's or not? We're going to hold on that one because I'm in the middle of a question, girl. So sorry. We'll get back to you. She became magic. We want to start thinking about, what addiction is using a substance or a behavior to satiate a less than satisfied emotion or situation. Self-love. And so we want to think about what we're dissatisfied about, but also take it in a deeper level about when did all of that begin in childhood.
Yes.
And really get into that disgruntled place and then start using the frequencies as we think about those stories.
Yeah, so the Chiron, what works with you, it works completely with your DNA. Self-love is the gateway to working with your DNA to hold more light. So the Chiron is the one that I would offer from the heart chocolate box before we would go to Neptune, who is just, hey baby, what do you want? And that is not what we would want for that scenario.
Yeah. And it's so profound with that, because so many people that I've seen in therapy, or I did a lot of Al-Anon, and they were so stuck in their story, and they thought, well, if I just repeat my problem stories and my sad stories, they're all going to go away. But they just kind of get stuck in the frustration that it's not moving the way they would hope it would.
Yeah.
And so this is a great strategy to start really feeling what your stories are, and then using the frequency to start changing and shaping them to something different.
And it's quite interesting because the South Node, which is working with Archangel Sandalphon, going to the question of, all these traumas. Archangel Sandalphon is the trauma expert. And he's going to be around, as that lady was asking on the...
Let's bring up...
She became magic. The North Node is now in Pisces, and the South Node in Virgo.
Hang on. Let's ask this. Let's read it all out so it's clear to the audience.
Yeah.
Since the North Node is now in Pisces and South Node Virgo until next July, how does that factor in or not? Loving this.
So we have the North Node and we have the South Node. Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon on the or if you don't want to work with archangels, it's 432 and 639, and these two are on an awakening line. This is a trauma expert, okay, and this is creating the flower of life. This is what Archangel Metatron works with, limitlessness. So whatever we're creating, we can create with this. So the North Node is, we want to create no boundaries, whilst Archangel Sandalphon, who's working in Virgo, who is the healing colors. The healing colors within white light, you have lots of different colors, and so when you want to make yourself whole, i.e. no dis-ease within your mental, physical or emotional bodies, you would work with Archangel, the 639 hertz frequency.
Let me say hi to Sherry Madigan.
Hi.
And hi, Heidi. I haven't seen Heidi go, but I'm glad she's here. Well, this is good stuff.
So because they're going to be in this situation until next July, there'll be a lot of work collectively going on, depending on our journey,
Let's
depending on our
call it an
sorrow.
opportunity.
It's a huge opportunity if you're consciously working with this.
When you're coming up with your biggest traumas and you have a good tool that you can bring it, it's like, folks, it's time to work out.
It is, and we'll be working with 432 for self-love collectively. So it's a great one to play with. You can go on YouTube and just put 432 hertz and you'll get a plethora of things to play. And it's just, and then you can just sit with it and see what it says to you.
And we have Heidi Gold saying, both my North Pisces and South Node Virgo were retro. Is that an inner lesson? Thank you, Bart. I'm glad I'm here too.
Oh, so when it's, yes, it's a teacher for us all collectively. And as I was just explaining, when people, everyone is different and they all have their own journeys. And when we go within and find our true north and release from our true south and then go outside and collectively work with others. But what this is a shout out to is the collective heart. So we will all be working with these frequencies differently because we're all different energies and we've all got different pathways. So it would depend on that person.
Yeah.
So obviously when we're looking at this is the collective heart, but if this is, what was that question again? If that lady was Heidi, yeah. So Heidi,
it says, I'll bring this back up again.
Yeah,
both my North Pisces and South Node Virgo were retro.
Yeah.
Is that an inner lesson?
It's a teacher. It's a teacher to us all. And your North Node Pisces is in tune with the collective heart. So what have you learned throughout this lifetime that you can share with others and help them? That's what I would suggest to Heidi, because she was born with this access.
Yeah.
And when something's retrograde, it's much more present. It's much more emphasized. It's much, you're much more aware of it.
Yeah. We always want to be moving forward and what's next and what's the new adventure, what's the new lesson and stuff. However, if we haven't learned the old lessons, when we go into retrograde, it poses that opportunity. And of course, they're more severe if you're avoiding those lessons.
Yeah, it's like a pause. It slows down. So you can really, it's like putting a really nice, I don't eat meat, but if you put a really nice bit of meat, I used to, and you put it in wine and let it soak, that's retrograde.
I've never heard it that way.
I love food and, I like to evoke these things. So that's what I would say to somebody. You're soaking with that teacher. So Heidi, you have so many tools within you from this lifetime that you can share with the collective heart.
Yeah. It's also, as I was told by Richard Rudd, The Gene Key is one of the best books that I've ever read. But he really talks about life has a natural cycle of the chemistry of the body going into retrograde or a low node. And of course, it's going to go into a high node. But if we really fully immerse ourselves into the low mode and go into the questioning, the discovery phase of what's not been resolved, but also percolate ideas. When we go into the high node, we really fly. And most people are always trying to go in the high and avoid the low, and therefore they always stay in the middle, as opposed to really getting the lessons that our body, our astrological and our body cycles are always trying to present us.
Yeah, and it's like soaking that wine up, like immersing yourself. And everything I suggest is a teacher. And so if you've gone through a lot, you have a lot to offer to the collective heart. I mean, right now we have Cupido working with Archangel Raphael, and it's a strong connection with the Great Pyramid. in Egypt.
And let's review
Slow
what
that down.
Cupido is. Jupiter and
It's a combination of the energies of Jupiter and Venus.
okay, and it's connected with the pyramid.
So this in the middle right here, I visited Egypt for the eclipse last year, and we're going again. We're doing a master pilgrimage in November. And the pyramid in Giza, which I didn't plan to go to, I've had past life there, not in a human form, and I was a bit, whoa, 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 whoa. I've got a lot going on right now. And then lastminute.com, of course, we went in there, went up, went right to the top, went into the pyramid, and I was with 2 other friends, and we were speaking light language. We levitated. We didn't physically levitate, but we felt like we did. And the message was, this works with Archangel Raphael and the 963 hertz. And I was like, pure connection. And so the 963, this one,
Can't wait.
is working with our Cupido in the middle. So Venus in the inner solar system, when we go inside, is the natural translator energy. She aids us to really get the message in. She enables the recipe to get right for us to tune in properly for each and every one
So
of
we're
us.
activating the Giza along with something deeper with the Lemurian, and then kind of your Akashic records are also getting something of probably, I don't want to say healed or cured, but or transformed, but something in that gets.
It's an initiation.
Initiation.
So the pyramids, are like intergalactical light ports. They're all over the world, but our last living memory is in Egypt right now. So it's a great remembrance, but there's lots of codes in there. And if you listen to the 963 and connect to that pyramid.
So everybody just really pay attention to this Cupido, which would be your thymus there. Yeah. When she pings us, just see how it is, because if you're paying attention, you're maximizing the lesson.
And Archangel Raphael, or the 963 hertz, in this recipe is an earth healer. So if you want to help Gaia and help yourself at the same time, because we're all connected, you can transport yourself there through the thymus, and this will open up your gateway into your own Akashic record for this lifetime. So all that little case you packed for this lifetime before you incarnated will start to open, and you will start to remember, and things will come to you in your own time for your journey, depending who you are. So are you ready? There we go.
Yeah.
Gateway.
Yeah.
Gateway.
Yeah, it's like, that was wild. I feel much better and
It's supposed to manifest on it.
Super expanded there in that moment. Whew.
So it's a great meditation tool.
Yeah.
And it's a great way. I mean, we've started teaching this now because people are hungry for this information.
But also you're getting more purpose and direction, and actually teaching people how these tools work.
Yes.
Because a lot of us know, oh, well, the 174 takes away pain, so we want to put it on our sore knee, and we kind of use it like that, and which is very applicable and admirable, but this is a lot deeper than any of that.
It's a lot more personal and collective. I mean, we've just played the collective frequencies for everybody, but imagine if you went with your personal frequencies.
So you're really working a lot with you and your relationship with the planet and the solar system all at once.
Yeah, there's like an MC that runs right the way through you, which is your golden thread. And it runs through all of your main 7 energy centers and beyond, and connects your Gaian self with your cosmic self. And when you connect to Gaia, you can then go, when you go deeper in, you can go further out. And this is what
Yeah.
we're working with right now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's more than just the heart, everybody.
Yeah.
It's all parts of the body that this model addresses. And she really explains a lot of it in this book. The inner solar system, which you can get in a lot of great places. And check it out. It's kind of an initiation book, and I know more books are coming, and workshops are happening as we speak.
They are.
And voila,
Yeah.
there we have it. We have so we're just
Center of my chest. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, Sherry, you're feeling the collective suitcase of the Akashic Record. That's
yes,
beautiful.
yes. Thank you, Phyllis. That's wonderful
Yeah.
to see you, and we're still enjoying France, Phyllis, here. And I was thinking about you the other day. I gotta write you, tell you a story. She was on my tour last time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we talked about, but can you just give us a minute of just what's going on in your world, what projects you're up to,
Okay.
and
Well,
et
right
cetera, et
now,
cetera?
I'm just about to work with some friends to expand what we're doing. And then in September, we've been invited to Australia. So if anyone's out there in Australia, we're coming on the 21st of September to Perth, well, Denmark, just below. And then in November, we've got a master pilgrimage. We will start to advertise that. We're not advertising it yet because there's only 13 places. But it's a master pilgrimage, and we are going to, from the 22nd of November to the 2nd of December, so it's a bit cooler. We will be going to the epicenter of the rose, which is Alexandria. We will be going to the Osiris Temple. We have 2 hours in the Great Pyramid. We have an hour at the Sphinx, all to ourselves.
Oh,
It's just going to be, it's going to be
so
amazing.
you can come on that tour if you wish.
Yes, yeah.
And that also has my friend Hakeem Alwan. Is that
Yeah,
true?
Hakeem.
Hakeem Alwan. He's been on my show, and
Yeah.
he's an Egyptian chematologist who has an amazing knowledge of a more ancient history, in short, of what Egypt actually is. And with all of this modern stuff, somehow there's a marriage and a chemistry that's creating more knowledge to come up.
I met him and there were light codes coming out of his eyes when I was in Egypt in October, and that's
Yeah.
why we started to work together. It marries. And Yutta, she's channeling Isis.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we got quite a team there.
Oh, yes.
And you can find out Pennie at Dragon's Eye Hub. That's a plural dragon, and I and then hub.com. So wonderful with that. So I want you to just think about a minute message that you want to end the show with, and some wisdom. And while you think about that, I'm going to tell everybody that you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. My guest tonight is Pennie Loftus. My name is Bart Sharp, and you are on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 FM out of New Orleans. And next week we will have Alethea Sophia, and it'll be a lot of fun with Alethea. It always is, with masterful storytelling and tales that are always wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
So what's your party message?
My party message is, it may look like there is crisis going on everywhere, but our collective heart is being worked on if we're conscious enough to connect to that. Step back, breathe, and see the joy in the crumble. For the creators are all waking up.
Indeed, and we've done some really cool energy work today. And I think the cool thing is that we set up and explained everything so people could really get focused and let it just come in on.
Mhm.
And we probably did this for maybe 500,000 people. That's kind of fun.
That's kind of
And
cool. Kind of cool.
so, yeah, so
And
this
thank you
this is
everybody for
work.
your questions, and thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Bart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see everybody next week on Becoming Quantum Conscious. And until then, y'all have a great evening, or a great afternoon, great evening, or great night wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.